"Are you sure that's what you heard?" Tobias asked. I nodded. "I am. I'm also certain that one of them was Wysanther." Tobias sighed. "That doesn't bode well. Wysanther isn't the strongest of the summer court, but he is strong. The queens sit at the top of the court, then the maids, then the knights. The knights are an extension of the queens and their court, so they owe their title and power to the queens. He has to know that by working against Titania, he's playing a very dangerous game. The courts are full of intrigue, but going against the queens is exceptionally foolish. Which means he's pretty sure that when it's discovered, that he has a way out. Or a better offer," Tobias said. "Is there anything we can do with this information?" Tobias shook his head. "Not without evidence. At the moment, all we have is hearsay." Sometimes I think it might be easier if we just gacked him ourselves and got on with it. That was about the time our meeting was interrupted by an alarm from one of our newest security detail. The Brandylow who came to get me was called Saramir, and she was young, even by Brandylow standard. She had come in a few weeks ago. She claimed that a Brandylow with short dark hair had met her and told her it was time he gave her his power. That sounded like Xandolin, and I was definitely sorry to hear that he was no more. He was a good Brandylow, and Saramir was becoming a pretty good one too. She was hard-working, didn't shy away from difficult tasks, and kept her complaints to herself. So when she came running in, the club swinging from her belt, and told me that a scary man was standing by the lily pond, I sighed. I knew who she must mean, but I'd hoped he would be a little more patient than this. He knew the lady had gone, and he knew that it was she who did his dirty work for him. He couldn't expect Tobias and I to do the same service for him. Could he? "I'll go speak with him," I said, Tobias nodding and telling me to be safe. "Remind him that the deal he made is dependent on the lady, and that we would be unable to fulfill it without her. He might have to kill his own meat in the meantime." I nodded, exactly what I had been thinking. I straightened my robes, checked my cudgel, and set out to speak with the warden of Stragview. He was standing by the lily pond and looking at the statue that we'd made of her. It looked almost identical to the one that she had been trapped in, and it made my heart feel heavy every time I saw it. It was a great accent piece for the lily pond, but it was also a great reminder of what I hoped we would find again. The warden was looking at her as if willing her into reality, and when he turned to me, I could see him putting his smile back in place. "Brandylow, good to see you again." "I'd like to say the feeling is mutual," I returned, putting a hand on my cudgel handle. "What are you doing in my garden?" "Is it your garden now? Did you take it over when your mistress was taken?" "For the time being, yes. I'm keeping it warm for her is all. So again, what are you doing in my garden?" We hadn't received any details of inmates since the lady was taken, but the snow had probably been keeping most of the larger vehicles off the road. Perhaps he was here to tell us that the details would be coming back again, but I kind of doubted it. He was more likely to tell us that he wanted something done about a particularly bad inmate. But if that was the case, he was in for some disappointment. "I have 3 new death row inmates, and I've become tired of dealing with the shenanigans of one particularly nasty fellow. His execution date isn't for months, maybe even years, but his daily performances are starting to be problematic for morale. I need him gone, and I need it sooner rather than later. I pursed my lips. I understand that your death house is infested, but can't you do anything for yourself? What about the woods? Can't you let the woods take care of him? The warden shook his head. The forest is no longer a viable option. There are things there that I cannot trust to do the job. I cannot be seen to kill him myself, or my staff would lose faith in me. Every other gambit we have attempted hasn't panned out, and so I need you all to live up to your side of the deal. The deal. I hadn't counted on that. If we wanted the warden's help, then we had to maintain the deal. But without the lady, there would be no way we could deal with the inmate in the usual way. Do you know how the lady deals with your special cases? The warden scoffed. The particulars are none of my business. I trust that you will see to that. She takes them into the pond you're standing in front of and converts them into energy for her use. She has been powering the park and the events the town enjoys with your sacrifice. I do not have access to that power. Neither does Tobias. We have no need for sacrifices, so we have no need for a deal you struck with her. The warden shook his head, but I could already see the anger simmering there. So, you would break the deal that has brought so much good to your garden. The lady is sure to be cross with you when she returns. I shrugged. I doubt it. Either way, we can make a new deal when she gets back. We have no need for inmate details as well. There isn't much to upkeep without displays. The warden looked back at the statue, and he looked unsure of himself. Was this normal for demons? I didn't think I had ever seen them being indecisive, and it scared me a little. If these creatures were struggling so much, then what chance did I have? What if I could help you find your lady? He said suddenly. I felt a tingle up the back of my neck, but I laughed it off. Seems doubtful, I said, as I put my hooves in the lily pond. It's widely known that you rarely go farther than town. Are you planning a trip or something? He laughed. No, not me personally. I mean, I have something that can help you find her. It's a special item that I will absolutely want returned when you are done with it. It's a totem that would probably help a lot in the location of your lady. That got my interest. Oh, and all it will cost you is ending one problematic inmate for me. I looked out at the lily pond. That was quite an offer, and one I would be a fool not to take. I could kill someone. I'd done it before, but this would be crossing a different line. This was a line that Randy had never felt good about crossing, and the longer it went on, the more I understood why. It was abhorrent to kill like this, to do the dirty work of people who were disreputable. But if he really had something that could help us, then what choice did I have? You swear that whatever this item is, it will help us. The warden nodded, extending a hand to shake. I do. Trust me, Brandylow. The sooner the lady returns, the sooner we can get back to business as usual. I thought about it. Somehow I had found myself in a real Faustian bargain. This wasn't going to cost me anything. Not really. I didn't know this man. He was nothing to me. and this item could get me back the person I cared for the most. The person we all cared for most. That, too, was hypothetical, of course. Whether or not this thing would work was up to debate, but I felt like I owed it to her to try. Maybe I was trading my soul, but I didn't really care. I would have traded more to have her back. I shook his hand, trying not to shudder at the clamminess. Then it's a deal. You may bring your problem and your artifact tomorrow night, and we will see that he bothers you no more. The warden smiled. Excellent. I had all faith in you. I will set it up immediately, and we will make all preparations. Until tomorrow, then. I left him standing by the pond. He had found his way in. He could find his way back out again. In the meantime, I had work to do. You're still here. Thanks for stopping by. Dr. Plague here. Always a pleasure to see all my new and old viewers coming by for another one of my spooky tales. If you'd like to support the show, you can always take part in one of our channel offers through Fume or Aura, or you can just click on another video when they come up. I'd really appreciate it. For our newer viewers, we also have lots of playlists and other things if you'd like to get caught up. I know some of my series have been going on for quite a while. If you'd like to get my latest book, there's a link down below that'll take you to my Amazon page. Towesey Homestead just came out, so if that's something you'd like to get your hands on, go ahead and have a look down there. If you'd like a signed copy, you can go ahead and email me from my email address on the site, and I'll get with you about shipping information and ship you a signed copy. If you'd like to support the channel in a more monetary fashion, we also have membership through YouTube, and we've got a Patreon that you can get the information for in the description. We have lots of tiers and everything to suit your needs. Patrons that support on the $10 tier, that's our Ghostly Reader tier, get a book anytime I write one, signed and on their doorstep. As you may have noticed, there's a list of patrons and members on the screen, and I'd like to personally thank every one of them for taking a hand in the future of this channel. Well, that's enough for tonight. Dr. Plague, signing off. Have a wonderful evening.